Welcome to the Spearo Hangout, where we talk all things spearfishing, freediving and foraging. We're three guys from Devon in the UK who are excited to share some of the learnings from our spearfishing journey with you over the coming episodes. We bring in some special guests along the way to help spread some in-depth Spearo knowledge from some of the most experienced people in the scene.
Right, we're in the pub.
Evening, boys.
Good evening.
How we doing?
What have we all been up to today?
So we've been for a bit of a dive, haven't we?
Yeah. In Cornwall as well.
Sunny Cornwall.
Yeah, it was quite prosperous as well, wasn't it?
Beautiful today.
No, it wasn't 2 days ago, was it? It was disgusting.
That's it. Well, it's 8 o'clock bang on, and I can't see a cloud in the sky. It's stunning.
Where did you go, Ben?
I thought I was going to blank actually, got towards the end of the dive.
You left it quite late,
I
mate.
did leave it really late. I got all excited because there was loads of life at the start. I thought, just go and stroke the flounder and wave at the cuttlefish. It was pretty cool, got some nice footage. But then it got to about 5 hours in and I still had nothing. You guys had gone off to, I don't know, get changed or do something else, I don't know. And managed to get mullet.
I stayed.
Oh, you stayed? Yeah, thanks, mate.
I was your support.
Into the last minute. We, it was good. But it was still pretty good. Managed to get a mullet and 3 flounder, so pretty successful, really.
Very nice. What'd you get, Rich?
1 lobster, 3 flounder, a mullet, and a crab.
Nice.
And you?
Go on then.
Right, hang on. Have we got 10 minutes?
It's a good haul.
Hey?
It's a pretty good haul.
2 lobster, 2 brown crab, 2 cuttlefish, 3 flounder, dogfish, 2 wrasse, and a partridge in a pear tree.
And Tony was out with us as well. What did you get to him?
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at the picture now to remember it all. Brown crab, red mullet, 2 grey mullet, 2 bass, and about 7 or 8 flounder.
Amazing.
There's now no more flounder in that location.
It's been fully floundered out, that spot now.
Yeah, so if you do notice a spot from the picture, I wouldn't be going there.
There's nothing there.
Yeah, so we're joined with Matt Newman and Tony again.
Thanks for having us
Pretty
back.
cool, yeah.
Thank you.
Lovely to see you guys.
No, thanks for bringing us down, Tony. It's been
Yeah, Tony's been
awesome
showing
day.
me around for a while, which is pretty cool. And gave me a few more points to get above you boys.
You're
still behind at the moment, I
Count
think.
for points today as well, actually.
Yeah, I think you're both still leading, aren't you?
So, for the points, Ben, did you get any points today?
I think I got a couple of points. I haven't worked out if it's a thin-lipped or a thick-lipped mullet.
It's a pass, mate.
Do you find that out after, how it feels?
No,
when you put your willy?
There's a couple of funny. There's a couple of ways, isn't there? You can look at the lips, and sometimes it's got teeth on, and sometimes they've got those. yeah. They've got those little what do they call them? Like little spots, nodules. Yeah. That's the best way to tell. You can also look by folding the. We call the side fins, pectoral fins. Matt, glad you're here. You can fold them forward, and there's something about how far over the eye it goes, and obviously, if it's got a gold spot, it's a gold spot.
Gill plates as well.
And gill plates.
Yeah, so
it's where they meet, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember if they join all the way at the top or if it's thicker, but if you hold the two together, it's visibly noticed.
Dan Mann's got a really good video, hasn't he?
Yeah.
The
Of
jugular
explaining the difference.
interspace of the thick-lipped mullet.
That's the one.
Scientific.
So you got how many points today, do you think?
Just a couple, I think, today.
Rich?
20.
20?
Jeez.
Well, we're all going to be catching Rich then.
No, you two still on the lead, I think.
Yeah, I've still got some 3 points from lobsters. I haven't got any lobsters yet on there, so...
I think I got 15 points today. Just depends on whether Barclay says that they're sized or not. Hi Barclay, I love you. I got your message. No hard feelings. I'll get some bigger red mullet next time, don't worry. But and Tony, you got points today?
Yeah, I think only 6 for the red mullet, but it should put me back up there. Should be on 173 if all goes through.
173 points.
That's the lead again, isn't it?
It should be. It depends if the other guys have uploaded anything, but it should put me back in. But they overtook me while I was out for 2 weeks because I stabbed myself like a fool.
Who's top at the moment, then?
It's joint top with Matt Hunt and Matt Shaw at the minute.
Oh, wow.
but they're certainly not 22 points ahead.
That's really sporting of you, that is. 2 weeks out just to let them catch up. I like that.
I'll give them a chance. Such a nice guy.
Why didn't you explain to everyone what you did to your finger, man?
I stuck my dive knife straight through it, so be very careful when you're braining a fish, and don't brain it through the top of the head. If you're going to brain a fish, go in through its eye, as I've just learned from Matt, or go in through the back of the gills, or do what I did today and just go full halal and just bleed it out.
Pretty much anywhere bar the place you did, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah, do anything other than stick your knife straight through your finger.
When
When
I had my mullet today, I went to just automatically like do it at the top of the head, and I was like, don't do that.
You can do it, but you've got to scrape the scales off
Yeah.
and go ever so slightly to the side. Then it goes in nice. But
Oh, does it?
yeah, if not, you see scales everywhere, you're going to puncture yourself.
Yeah.
and it hurts.
You've got a video of that on social media, haven't you?
Yeah, it's on all my UK Spearo social stuff. There's a video of me sticking a knife through my hand and then squealing like a girl.
When I watched that video, I was watching you holding it through its
Oh, you
gills.
can see it's going to happen.
I personally don't brain fish like you were doing, and when I saw your hand and you put the knife, I was like, "That's gonna hurt!"
Yeah.
And then, ow.
Yeah, I don't even normally do it that way myself. I just bought a brand new knife and you get complacent. You've done
Oh,
it
so
a
it's
1,000
super sharp
times.
then.
Oh, it was like a razor blade, yeah.
Not a
Then you
dull,
get
rusty one. So you haven't got hepatitis.
No, that's it. Complacent and lazy. I think that's why it healed so well, actually, because it's a really clean cut at least. But yeah, got lazy, got complacent, and stabbed myself instead of the fish.
Well, seeing as you come from Cornwall, you've still got 11 fingers.
Well, yeah, I'm not from Cornwall. I moved here.
10 and a half.
Yeah.
Still growing. Still growing.
Yeah, that's it. It's still growing at the minute. But
Nice.
yeah, I'm what they fondly refer to as an emmet, I believe.
Still?
Oh, is that the difference between the Cornwall and Devon and Grockles?
Grockles and
I
Emmett.
think
Yeah,
so,
we used
yeah.
Grockles and Dorset
Grockles
as well.
is Devon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grockles. We were following Grockles on the way over here, shouting and screaming at them.
And since the last time you've come on the podcast, you did the Chalabra comp as well, didn't you?
Mm.
How'd you get on?
Yeah, the Chalabra comp was interesting, learning curve. Some parts went well, some parts not so well. I only dived for half the time, which was a bit shit, because I messed my throat up and I was choking on blood. So don't do that. But I got a nice bass. I think I got the biggest bass of the day and a flounder, so at least I didn't blank on my first comp.
Nice.
That was a chunky bass. That head on that thing was massive.
Yeah, it was a decent bass. It was one of my bigger shore caught bass, and to get that in a comp was
That's really
Pretty
good,
nice.
man, yeah.
And Matt, you haven't been in any comps yet?
Not this year, no.
Why
I
not?
probably won't either.
Oh, you won't at all?
No,
Oh, okay.
I thought...
yeah,
right.
So you come in at the last comp and just smash it.
No, I've just taken a year out really from comp diving. I've had so much on with like work, house, baby, stuff like that. I can't fit it in. I know I'm not fit enough to do it as well. I can't be that guy who's like, you've still got it. But
Yeah, look at all of us.
I was going to say, have you seen Rich?
That's fair to me. That is fair. Because in the last competition, I thought I was going to die at the end. I got to the end and my Achilles are ruptured like 5-6 months ago. It was screaming after like 6 hours of swimming. Oh.
If we're anything to go on competition, you spend most of your time just eating people's nuts anyway. So
I did it. Sound like I missed out.
chain smoking on the beach. And
we were still 30 meters away from each other.
you've got a long sack. So what's the plan for the rest of the weekend now?
We were down here for another week, aren't you, Rich?
Still down till the 1st.
So you're here on holiday?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Staying down holiday. Tony's taking me around, and in exchange, I'll do the same for him when he comes down.
Where's your better half?
I can't wait.
She's doing family stuff.
Oh, what? She's down here on holiday.
Yeah.
Ah, cool. Because I brought my better half. Hi, Lou. Rachel, say hello.
Hello.
So yeah, I don't know why Ben didn't bring you, Lou.
I did try it, actually. She just wasn't up for it.
Dear, oh dear.
Said she might come down tomorrow.
Right.
You diving tomorrow?
You're staying tonight then?
No,
No.
I'll
You're driving
drive back.
Oh, okay.
There's a nice cosy spot in the doghouse for him.
Yeah, well,
We won't go there. We won't go there.
I think we
Okay,
might
we'll
have to
start
head back to
cutting
the
stuff
same
out
place. We
Yeah.
might have to go back and dive the same spot again tomorrow.
Quite productive there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're allowed
it
to dive tomorrow? What's your...
Don't know, mate. We'll find out when I go home. So Matt, you like, when was the last time you went diving then? It's been quite a while, hasn't it?
I went out, was it 3 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, I
Not
think.
too long ago then.
No, but I blanked. So, yeah, it doesn't happen often, but I blanked.
Feel better
I
about
think everyone just...
I could give
everyone
you
was
every
like,
excuse under the sun, but nothing happened. That was it.
everybody was a bit speechless then.
No, it was what I've been doing the courses recently, the safety boat for Max. So a few of us went out, a couple of us went out after a course. Long day. Chris, he had some nice triggers. Sam, he had a really nice red mullet, and I just stabbed Chris in the knee.
You stabbed him in the knee.
Yeah,
How did you stab him? What, Chris Mills?
yeah.
How did you stab him in the knee?
So
IFCA officer.
yeah, he
stabbed
got
him in
it.
the knee.
To be fair, that's a good person to stand up and speak on.
I don't know, because he's quite a good shot. That's the way you've got to gauge it. Is like, can they shoot as well as me? Because if they can, you're in trouble.
Hang on, you shot him?
Not quite. The gun was unloaded, but the spear, a brand new needle sharp spear, into the side of the knee.
Ow! What was that? Getting on and off the boat, or?
No, so what it is jumping in. Like, if you dive Max's boat,
Yeah.
you've got to have spear protectors on.
Yeah.
Jumped in, took the spear protector off, and the tide was absolutely pumping. He was swimming back to the boat. I was taking the spear protector off. As I turned around, the gun went backwards, and I just heard this scream, and my spear was lodged in the side of his knee.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, little apology, and
How many points is a Chris Mills?
I'm guessing it's minimum
1,000
size. He's taller than me, so it counts. But that's not hard, so I'll let him have that.
And he's part of the law, so it's extra points.
Yeah.
I saw that video Sam sees actually when he was hole hunting the triggers. I
Yeah.
don't know, that must have been the same day. Like, I couldn't believe how small the crack was
Yeah.
that he was actually hunting in, and I was like, oh shit, I'm actually looking in the wrong holes. Like, I need to look in all of them, even the tiny little cracks. That was
Yeah.
like,
The smaller the better, really, for triggers.
Oh, really?
It's almost like one goes in at full speed and wedges itself, and the others follow.
Really?
Yeah, because you look in a crack and they're literally stuck in, and you sometimes
Like
you can't
one
get
after
them
the
out.
other, like
Yeah.
in a queue.
So when we was doing a course recently, one of the clients, he had, I think it was an 85 centimeter gun,
Yeah.
fully loaded it back, and we put him down on his pinnacle. It's probably about sort of like the max of his depth, so we thought he was going to pingfish on the top of the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Instead, he decided to outdo himself, swim straight to the bottom, and then fire at a triggerfish that was about a foot away. And his spear ricocheted all through this rock cave system around the corner with a triggerfish on. So I'm doing the boat, not in a wetsuit or anything. Sam's the instructor, and he's like, right, I'll try and get it out. Bless him, the tide was going, and he was like tired after a full day. He was up, down, trying to get it out. And he said what he was doing is looking in, and more triggers were in front. So he's actually moving the triggers to try and see the one that had the spear on. What? And I said to him, get them out, just put a spear in, get them all out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he took 3 out of there, but he said there was about 6 in this tiny little crack,
Amazing.
watching their mate with a spear in it, stuck at the back of this cave.
Dave, what's wrong with your head? We'll help.
Because they
Yeah,
use the
so-
dorsal, don't they? From my understanding, with like the triggerfish name comes from that dorsal thing that
That's
locks
right.
into
Yeah.
place. So they wedge themselves right in a crack and lock the dorsal up against the rock, and you're just not getting them out. Unless they decide to drop their fin, they stay there. Well, unless you put a spear through it, and that distracts them usually.
Is that
But
sort of similar to strength to when like a crab will hold on to something and they
Yeah.
just aren't letting go?
But you look at like the skin of a triggerfish as well.
Yeah.
It indicates that they're against something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they were soft, they'd tear
It's
themselves
like
apart,
leather, isn't it?
wouldn't
It's incredibly tough.
they? Yeah.
yeah, I had one from the freebies bin at the comp, and yeah, I stooped down low to take it. So I took it home, and we did both.
I had one as well, yeah.
Just making sure everyone knows you joined me.
I had one as well. Yeah,
I caught fish that day though, just like to add.
Oh, okay, cool, yeah. And so,
That was the comp, wasn't it?
yeah.
You two are walking 20 metres down the road with these triggerfish, and I come bowling down with a skate. Massive ray.
Yeah, and I put on the barbecue, and that thing was like crazy good, man. But I was trying to like cut the skin,
Yeah,
just to sear it, but I couldn't even get a knife through the skin. It was that thick.
Yeah, there's a way to do it. I've tried like with Stanley knives before and it won't touch them.
Really?
When I was younger, I did put it in a bucket of boiling water and you can wipe the skin off. But there's certain points where you can literally stab a knife in, but you've got to fillet them from the inside out.
Right.
So if you can, I can show you, but like obviously the people listening won't know. So if you stab in and make a hole, and then you tilt the knife, you can actually fillet it from the inside out, and it's just like a normal fish.
Oh, yeah.
It's really lovely.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem taking the skin off. I'd probably watched about 5 YouTube videos before doing it, to be fair.
Yeah, so some of the Japs that do their videos on, there's one guy that I watched that it's in Japanese then dubbed in English.
Yeah.
And he does loads of different things like shark and triggers and stuff, but he will fillet from the bottom of the belly up and damn near fillet, or what they call it, butterfly, the trigger, and then he reuses the skin and turns it into like a light or a lamp and dries the skin out. It's really clever. Takes all the scales off, blows it up, and then sews the belly, and then sets it in vodka or something, I can't remember, but and then turns it into like a lamp and uses it as a lampshade.
Yeah, I wasn't that clever on it. I just took off the skin and gave it to the dog.
Your dog is now a lamp. So with triggers, because I've never seen a trigger in the water,
No, same.
ever. What are you looking for on something like Navionics? What are you looking for ground-wise to go in?
Like they obviously like reef structure. It's got to be generally like quite tall. So you want like almost like a wall that has got cracks in it. You find some of them open. I found a lot of mine on sort of like secluded areas of reef where you've got sand around, and then there's one particular rock that's got a lot of kelp on it.
Just a bommy.
Yeah, and like some cracks in.
But quite tall rock, that, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've not shot loads.
Yeah.
I've seen a few here and there, sort of thing. But all of the ones I tend to see, you want probably about a metre high.
Oh, so not like crazy
not
big.
No, not massive, but obviously it's the more vertical, the more chance you've got of cracks, and that's what they like ultimately.
And they like vertical cracks instead of horizontal cracks.
Yeah, so
right,
often they're slanted over like say 15 degrees, but they will run through vertically the rock.
Yeah.
And their diet is crustacean?
Yeah, crabs, mussels, things like that. Because if you look, they've got big teeth like wrasse.
I've heard about people having sides of fingers taken off where they've got their finger in a triggerfish, the wrong end. So could you then just go, like, could you bump into them when you're lobster and crab hunting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the most common way to see them is probably you might see like one or two free swimming, and then if you spook them, they suddenly disappear down, and you know that they're holed up.
Yeah.
And that's when then you start head down looking for them.
Right. Oh, nice.
But yeah, there's like some funny stories of divers that have had chunks taken out of their wetsuit on their arse cheeks where they've had a belt stringer on with a few triggers that they haven't actually killed, and you see they suddenly swim faster and faster and the triggers are chomping. But they're like really dumb fish as well. So back in a few years ago when there was no bag limits in the competitions, I know of certain divers that caught a lot of triggers, and they're diving the same gully, shoot one, and all the triggers are watching their mate get shot, and then they come back in again. But they will, I think maybe in the UK, but definitely abroad, they will attack. So like if you shot a triggerfish, the other triggers will attack that trigger as well.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're brutal fish.
They won't attack you though, right?
People have get bitten.
Only if they're on a spear though, right? They're not like,
No,
I just think it's best man wins. One comes at you, it has it, doesn't it, really?
That's when you grab your knife out. two for one.
set away.
I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube where, because triggers are really territorial, especially when they've got a nest, and there'll be people just snorkeling or free diving, and the triggers will start coming at them in the water from, say, 10 metres depth, and they'll just start coming at them and like trying to shoo them away. And you're like a small 30 centimetre triggerfish versus human, but
Let's take some chunks there, eh?
yeah, I wouldn't want to get bitten by one.
No.
Not a shoal of them as well. Like,
Well, because Chris Mills, he said he just went on Navionics, had a look at Chalabra and thought, oh, that rock looks alright.
Yeah, that's
Went
what
over to the rock and come up with 9 of them.
Yeah.
Wiped out the whole rock.
And didn't even have a clue that they were there in the first place.
well, he's got 30 years experience, hasn't
Yeah,
he?
but like, he didn't know they were there. He
yeah.
kind of thought, that looks alright.
Yeah.
So,
I think he saw he saw one, spooked it, and saw it went to ground, so started looking.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that's when I say they find a crack, they all just bomb in one after another,
Yeah.
and one gets shot. Simple as that.
Oh, so did you see the shoal of bream today?
Huge shoals of bream.
Yeah,
And we reckon
tiny little
the
3 or 4.
couches and black bream.
Yeah, couches and black bream, but really good to see so many of them.
Yeah, huge
Hopefully
numbers.
in a couple of years.
Just not big enough to shoot, eh?
Because a lot of people
white
don't
bait.
shoot black bream in Cornwall, do
They don't.
they? Not a lot.
There's not really many spots where you get them like good size, shootable size.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to be more common, but I don't know. Some people that they say it's not even fit for the cat, so it's preference, I
Oh,
guess.
black bream?
Yeah. A lot of
Really?
people don't like them because it's quite a strong taste to them.
Yeah.
I thought it was delicious.
Have you tried one?
You used to be able to get them in like Morrison's or whatever, didn't you?
Oh, right.
Yeah, I presume it's no different if you catch them in the wild. I guess they're probably fish farmed. I haven't had them for quite a while, but really tasty fish.
I think a lot of the farmed bream are giltheads. They're small
Oh,
giltheads.
Maybe I just assume they're
'cause
black
obviously
bream
you get
now.
more gilts
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Greece and stuff like that, where the farms are. So,
Yeah, I mean, I haven't bought any fish from a supermarket for a very long time, but yeah, it could well be gilthead.
yeah, because generally over those sort of areas, like I say, Greece.
Yeah.
That's the main one, I think. But they either get sar or sargos,
Yep.
or,
It's a white bream.
or giltheads.
Yeah.
So they don't get blacks. But like years ago, down in Cornwall, they used to commercially fish for couch's bream.
Did they?
Yeah, there's certain spots within Halford.
Yeah.
But
Want to
no,
go to Halford tomorrow?
they used to go down and actually target them. I don't know. They used to get quite a few.
Well,
So-
you see it on the angling pages, don't you? Down the estuaries, but I think we were saying on the chat the other day, trying to fish in an estuary is pretty hard work, and
Yeah, there's a certain tidal pool that everyone knows you catch them rod and line fishing. They go big as well.
yeah,
And tragically, years ago, there was a young lad who died in there because of the tidal currents. He got pulled.
spearfishing. Or...
No, he was jumping off the cliff.
Right.
And there's actually like a tribute video out that shows like the moments before.
Oh god.
But he was there's tidal pools that whip around there.
Yeah.
And he was playing around in the tidal pools, and obviously they got stronger.
Yeah.
And then that filters into this pool.
Yeah.
So this pool is like everyone knows about it. You get giltheads in there. Years ago, I was like, I'm going to go in there and get a gilthead.
Yeah.
And I sort of like stalked it. I went there repeatedly for days over a period of months, looking at it, trying to get an idea of where best to dive. And one day I plucked up the courage. I was like, "You're going for it." Put my fins on. I sank up to my ankles with fins on in mud, and I was like, "Go home." That was the end of the dive. No giltheads come out of there ever. But nearby they do catch them, and I know people that have dived in that sort of area catching bream, but there's a lot of boat traffic, and now they're quite hot on it, and they will kick you out. So it's
How do they kick you out? Is that because it's a private estuary or something, or what's the reason?
There's a lot of fishermen, and like I say, there's a lot of active boats.
Yeah.
It's quite a shallow estuary. It's tidal as well.
Yeah.
And they just
Are you
don't
allowed
want.
to spearfish in estuaries? Because I know that, I mean, close to us, you've got like obviously the X Club, which we're a member of. Or, well, Rich isn't anymore because he's a traitor. But you're not
Cool, we'll
allowed to
cover that,
spearfish in the X, I believe.
That's a river, that isn't it? River X.
You're allowed to fish anywhere up until that's tidal.
Yeah.
Is my understanding.
The
Yeah, my
salt-
understanding
salt
is as far as
tidal.
the low tide
Yeah.
mark, essentially, like as far up as it's tidal. But if you want to go up a river that far where you're swimming in chocolate milk, then you're mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, moving on to a different species. What about oh God, the name escapes me. The big eye. The eye on the side of it. We're gonna
John Dory.
John Dory.
Fish. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, John Dory.
I'd love to get a John Dory.
How would I mean? Have you ever
begins.
seen a John Dory?
I've only ever seen small ones.
Yeah.
Too small to shoot.
How,
What, in Cornwall?
When
Or
I was
Dorset?
in Dorset mostly.
Yeah, yeah,
From
yeah.
what I know, they're a deep wreck fish.
So I know Sam Seeley had a John Dory last year, I think it was. And from what he tells me, I won't tell where, but apparently that was in about 4 meters of water, right
Was he
next to
lost?
the shore. Well, it might have been. That blue shark got lost up the foul, didn't it?
Yeah.
So I think he come looking for that lady's leg. He must have liked the taste of it.
Because I think
Round
that's
two.
where the likes of the species comp is going to be made is on those really rare turbot, John Dory, like is lemon sole.
I hope so.
Lemon
I
sole.
hope that's
Lemon
what makes the
sole's a better
difference.
one.
Because I'm doing well on that.
How many John Dory have you got?
I haven't. I've never shot a John Dory.
How
I've
many
never
turbot
even
have you
seen
got?
Well,
one.
How did you get a turbot?
I got it when I
In
was
1
out the
metre
other day.
of viz.
In a
What?
metre of viz, I shot a turbot.
Me and him are out in 1 metre
Oh,
of
was that
viz.
the flatfish that you put up?
Yeah.
That definitely looks like a pounder.
Look closer.
Me and Tony
That's a
are
big
out.
fish.
Me and Tony went out, right? 1 metre of viz. And we get in and Tony goes, nah, this is pants, man. Let's go and move. And I'm like, we're in now. We've got like 2 hours for my missus kills me. Let's just go and persevere and we'll see what happens. And then he shoots a turbot.
God damn it. Well, you've got Scotland coming up soon. So,
Yeah, you might
Coalfish.
see ling, coalfish. You've got
Coalfish.
good chance of all sorts
Tony's
of
already
them.
got one coalfish.
Is he?
Yeah, I've got a coalfish out of long way offshore, 12 miles offshore. If you know where that is, then you know where it is. But everyone knows where it is. But
Yeah.
I take it that wasn't a shore dive.
no, I didn't swim there. Although I have heard of people kayaking there, which is
There was a kayak off there, wasn't there? Like, and he was
mental.
camping up there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
kayak there and camped on the rock. And
Me
I
and
bet
Max.
he had a good night fishing.
Yeah. Apparently, though, it was a beautiful day,
Yeah.
and he was cooking up fresh mackerel on the stump.
Wow.
That's
Oh,
the
I
way.
know
If
you-
you're going to go
Yeah.
kayak fishing, I swear to God.
That
Just
really
go
unknown
there.
place that
Yeah.
no one knows about.
That's it,
Because
yeah.
nobody on social media has ever videoed it
No, that's
or
the
shown
one.
any of the shoals that's then been netted.
That's
No.
the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Looks like that turbot though, you know. Western Supermare was the last place I was expecting to see one of them, but had to be done, didn't it?
That Bristol estuary.
by the old pier, eh, Tony?
Yeah, Western Supermud.
Yeah. No, I don't think anyone else has got a turbot yet in the comp
No, I
either.
haven't seen any. Or brill. Or lemon sole.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was a brill when I shot it.
Somebody
didn't-
did get a brill
I
the
didn't
other day.
know what it was.
Did they?
Somebody did get a brill the other day.
Did they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw it on social media. Whether it was in the comp, I don't know. I saw somebody had a brill.
It's good
But
going.
yeah, lemon sole I haven't seen one yet. But
I wouldn't even know what
One
they
of my
look like.
mates-
on the
Any
water
any
either.
clues for lemon sauce?
One of my mates
Never
is up
seen
north
one.
looking for them at the minute.
No.
They're a mile that way. I've had one
Have
2
you?
years ago. Yeah.
No
Oh,
way.
yeah.
Fantastic.
I think lemon sole would be the same as other flatfish, wouldn't they? They just don't breed as much.
What do you mean?
I thought they were more deep water
Are they deep water fish?
than Dover,
Right.
so like typically. I want to say that Nick Collins has got the British record for them, but
Really?
I think he's potentially had a couple.
They look a bit like top knot, don't they? Like
Yeah.
underwater, I imagine. Like a bit
They're just
frilly on the
properly-
side and.
Properly diamond. They're
Are they?
properly lemon-shaped diamond. So if you can just if it's like properly triangular, then that's how I've seen it sort of portrayed on Google and stuff as to how to spot the difference. But
Sweet.
so when is Scotland? A month? No, under a month now.
Is it?
It's 3 weeks, wasn't it?
20 something.
3 weeks away, yeah.
3 weeks. That'd be good.
Yeah, and I'm taking the Seafield Gladiator. It was double wrapped. Was using it today. That was a new experience.
Yeah, it
That's,
can get a bit
that's-
emotional, can't it?
That's a lot of what's it called mono to be dealing with, man. I tell you,
Yes.
I don't know about the double wrapping.
Speaking of emotions,
I've
how's
tweaked my
your
rod
brother?
out now.
He's doing alright.
Well, since being in a relationship originally.
See, with the double wrap though, on that double wrap subject,
He's so good at
I've
it.
stuck a reel on my gun,
Yeah.
and it just makes it a piece of cake. I can single wrap it or double wrap it because I just let some line off the reel and add another wrap.
Oh, you
if
got
I'm in real clear viz,
Dynamo instead of mono then? You just.
I've got
one-
mono, but it's looped onto the Dyneema without
Right.
any kind of rig in there. It's
Yeah.
a real small knot, so I just stick a second wrap of Dyneema on, and that's double wrap.
Sweet.
Or if I want to bring it back to a single wrap, I just wind some line into the reel, and away we go.
I've not tried it yet. I feel
That's a
like I'm
good
too
point.
early in my spearfishing career to.
I'm not gonna lie. Today,
It's a Cornwall thing with the viz we get down, isn't it?
yeah, that's the thing. When
You
we
say that
that's
every
a
time
myth,
I've been
though.
down to see it, mate. It's been
when we,
about 3 meters at best.
when we first got in, but when we
I've
first got
been
in,
shit.
I saw all the fish, but they were like quite a way away.
Yeah.
A bit too far for the top, and I was like, right,
wish
okay,
I
get a
bought
gladius
that
out. And then literally, as like that mullet I had was quite a way away, but the gladius got it because it was double wrapped.
Yeah, well, I shot a mullet
Yeah.
today, and it was right at the end of my range. Well, it must be, what's it, 3 metres on a single wrap on the 90, and it hit it, but it just hit it like it didn't have quite enough power or range. Like the line almost stopped.
You gave him a high five.
Those
So
are,
I don't like double wraps. When I got the Mr. Carbons that I got, I spoke to the owner of C4 and he was like, just use the setup we've got on there, let us know what you think.
Yeah.
And it was double wrapped, but the amount of times I've like seen Max laughing at me because I'm tied up in 2 lines of mono, I've got a fish on the end, and I'm looking like it's some sort of like Sado water sport. And after that, I'm like, just forget it. I've pretty much always used single wraps. Even so, like, when I've been diving down west, divers there have reported viz of over 30 metres. And we were diving, you could see a diver make out every lead, every letter on the suit and things in 15 to 18 metres. So it is crystal clear. Even then, single wrap, 90 centimetre gun, that's all we need.
So, Tony, are you an advocate for? Oh my god, my dementia today.
The double wrap.
Real.
The reel. I got a reel ages ago. I didn't really get on with it. So I just kind of took it off the gun again and carried on for a while. But since I've started clipping my float line onto my belt rather than my gun, then I got another reel which I am a fan of, and yeah, I'm loving it now. But it takes some getting used to, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And even just reloading the gun is a bit different. You don't have that muzzle bungee you got to piss about, unwinding your reel, wind your reel back on, and the common misconception amongst new guys that it gives you more range. It doesn't. It doesn't change your range whatsoever. It's just purely for playing fish or a safety thing. So if you get your spear lodged in a hole at the bottom, you can just let your line out, come up to the top, and not lose your gun.
So on that, would you, now that you've got the experience with the reel and you're happy with it, would you choose that over just having your gun attached to your float?
Situational, really. Like today, I switched guns depending on which fish we were shooting today. So shooting the bass and the mullet today, I was using my reel gun, and then when it came to flatty bashing at the end, I switched back to my smaller gun with no reel, just because it's way less faff. It's so much easier, and there were so many fish there. It was just much quicker to just shoot the fish, get it out, deal with it, chuck the spear back in the gun, and away I go, rather than having to piss about with the reel and 2 bands on the gun and everything. So yeah, situationally, but it depends what you're shooting at. The one mullet I shot today was a pretty big chunk, to be fair, and that thing stripped about 10-15 metres of line off my gun, and it just went ballistic, but I just let it go, let it tire itself and hide in the kelp, and as a result it didn't tear off. Which I've made that mistake before of pulling back against the big fish that's going and just ripped the spear out and lost what at the time would have been a PB fish. Just watched it swim off with its guts hanging out, and you're doubly mortified because you've lost your fish and you've mortally wounded a fish, and it's not going to survive in the long run, which is not what you want to be doing.
I think that's what we were talking about before we started recording, was that mullet are quite a soft fish and they're quite prone to rip off quite easily, especially when they start having a proper
Yeah,
dodgy
they
shot.
go nuts when you've shot them generally. But it does depend where you hit them. If you can hit them through the gill plate, it's all right. Or
Something a bit harder.
if you get a top-down shot through their head, they're not going anywhere, because they're, as you saw, or if you look at my video of stabbing myself, it's quite hard to put a hole in a mullet's head. You won't tear a spear out of that. But under the gills is really soft, so if your shot's a little bit low in the throat of the mullet, it'll tear out, or the belly is really soft as well. If you shoot through the guts and they go nuts.
And so then the argument goes,
Game over.
what about tridents?
I've never tried one, but I know
Never
of...
tried a trident.
I haven't, no, but I know of a few people that use them. There was a couple of guys back when I lived in Wales that used to dive with the 5-prong trident style spears, and the guy used to swear by it, that he was proper old school, used to have a pneumatic gun, the 5-prong trident in the end, and he'd just go and smack 8-pound bass off the gouter and never had any issue with it, because in theory, when you put 5 spears into something, it's not going to go anywhere, is it?
unless
And
you
they got
put
some-
enough bands, and then you can just chop it straight in half.
Well, yeah, you probably
Pick up the
could.
pieces.
But he was just using a little 60cm pneumatic gun with massive, great big barbs on the end of the trident, and he said he never has any problem. So I guess it's what you like and what you're used to, isn't it, really, and what you're hunting as well.
Am I right in thinking that's a lot for wreck fishing, because you don't want the fish to swim into the wrecks, and the trident will just kind of stop it in its tracks? It can't really swim anywhere with a trident.
Yeah, they're good in that sense. They use it a lot in France, like in the wrecks around Normandy and stuff.
Yeah.
Dirty veers, but they use 8mm spears, big tridents.
So it knocks them out, basically.
Yeah, it will stun the fish.
Pitchfork.
Like in France, you're not allowed to use a torch at all. Even diving during the day, you're not allowed to use a torch. So therefore, the last thing you want is in potentially 30 metres with a metre, 2 metre viz, hit a fish and it dives further into a wreck, because you've got to get it back out. So big spears, big tridents, double banded, double 16, 90 centimetre guns, just whack them.
I was going to say, because you were talking about double bands on a real gun, but the Gladius only has a single, and it actually had enough range on it as well. C4.
Is it single 16 or single 18?
16, yeah, C4 band as well.
I've got a twin 14 on my Cressy, or whatever it is, and then the roller gun. But Max, I was talking to Max a while ago, he said just go for either a single 16, or Davo said single 18. And he said it's just so much easier. And
Probably depends on the spear you've got as well.
Yeah, you've got a
I've got a twin
Similar
16mm band
arrows.
on mine, but that's a Rob Allen 90 with a 7.5mm spear on it, so it's a heavy spear. And people joke with me about it, how blunt my spear tip is, because I just shoot through fish into rocks all the time, and it's a Rob Allen, it just keeps working. But even when it's completely flat on the end, it just hole punches through fish. It's got more than enough power, but it's kind of matched to that stupidly thick spear. If you're using a little 6.25 or 6.5mm spear, you probably don't want twin 16mm bands, because it'll overpower it and it won't just lose accuracy.
So when you overpower in a spear, when you fire it, it doesn't go straight, does it? It sort of does like a wobbling action, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Deflects similar to, I've seen videos of like Mythbusters and stuff where they were trying to split an arrow, and it was the fact that it flexes and sort of wobbles like a snake through the water.
Yeah.
And so that's probably where overpowering a spear is wrong.
But when they say like you lose accuracy, if you can imagine, it goes in like a curve up and down, because it's got all that energy stored and then it's released. At some point that spear is going to hit the muzzle, so like if the end kicks down, it will hit the muzzle, which is then going to send the spear tip up.
Yeah.
So it works opposites like that. It will deflect the whole way down.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got rail guns and things. They're designed for a spear to sit flat.
Right.
The way that they actually work is they allow a micro layer of water between the rail and the spear, which obviously gives it the propulsion, but it maintains it in position. So obviously then if you overload it, you've got big gaps throughout that, and it would just clink all the way down.
Yeah.
And so going back to what I asked Tony earlier on, same question for you, Matt. With reels, are you a reel advocate, or are you a stick it on the float and just let go of the gun?
No, reels 100%.
Really? Why?
The same as what Tony said. Like years ago, I had a reel. I couldn't get on with it, but I didn't know how to set it up. And the big thing about reels is you have to set them up before you dive. You have to understand them as well. So some people they wind it up tight, and then they do it up tight, and they say, when I shoot a fish, I'll undo it. You haven't got time for that. So you just need to pinch it up enough that when you pull it, it should actually release the brake system on there, which will let line out. So as soon as you shoot, it will take a tiny bit of line. A fish then will just unload it. You just wind it back in. So it only needs to be finger tight.
Right.
For me, it suits the conditions. One, that I dive a lot. So like big kelp stalks. Some of the places down west, you can have 2, maybe even 3 metre kelp stalks. If you've got a float line attached to your gun, then it just ties up in that all the time. Obviously if you're diving swell as well, swell or tide, you end up sort of tucking one bit under your belt or holding it in your left hand. It's just a faff. I don't like it.
What about with like bungee float line, which is what I've been using? I find that although it can tangle you up sometimes, and it can be a fucking spaghetti junction, most of the time, because it's that slippery, expandable sort of rubber.
Yeah.
Sometimes I had one where I shot a bass, it holed up, and it stuck the spear, and I just let the gun go. Went straight back out to the float, did my breathe up again, went back down, I was able to deal with it. I feel that was kind of the same as reel, but without the faff. If you see what I mean.
Yes.
I don't know whether a reel would have helped me or not, but at the same time I've then been on a wreck where another diver shot a pollock, it holed up in the wreck, and he only had a reel because he didn't have a float attached to the gun. Luckily he was able to bring the gun back to the surface and hold on to it.
Yeah.
But it was at the end of the reel's line. It had taken out that much line because the tide was pumping. And so that's the only thing that sort of scares me a little bit with reels, in that it gives you maybe if you, again, like you say, knowing how to use them, a false sense of security.
Yeah, and I've been caught out by being spooled and nearly lost guns. Certain things nearly happened to me because of that as well. But I think it was either Max or it might have been Dan Mann. But Max always advocates that you should have double the depth that you're diving on your reel. Mm-hmm. So most people think, I'll get like a little micro reel, I don't know, 20 metres a line. If you're diving 15 metres in any sort of tide, you will spool that reel quickly, and it won't take much. If you're diving shallower and you've got a reel gun, obviously the principle is that you hold onto the gun, go up to the surface, then you can let go of the gun. So it's exactly the same as your float. You've got a gun floating on the surface with a line going down to the fish. For me though, the positive for that is you can like drop weight. So I use drop weights all the time. You can drop weight your rock, which means then if you are drifting in tide, with a reel gun you can keep diving the same rock. If your float's attached to your gun, you can't. What you're going to mark the rock with. So yeah, I get his swings and roundabouts, and I'm not saying like everyone needs a reel on their gun, but for me, like targeting potentially big fish in strong currents, thick kelp and swell, you wouldn't do it with your float attached to your gun.
It's interesting what you were saying earlier as well, Matt, before we started this about the guns and things like that. And like at the end of the day, you've got to be prepared to just lose it. It's not what you want to do.
Yeah.
But what's your life worth? You know, things get tangled. Sometimes your reel might jam. If the line gets looped around the reel and it's stuck, things go wrong. You've got to be prepared to lose it. So don't go buy a 700 quid gun if you can't afford to go and lose that gun.
Yeah.
You know.
Your life ain't worth a 700 quid.
Exactly. It's just not, you know. You might have spent a year saving up for it, but what use are you going to get from it if you're in a box?
I think like Dan Mann, he says as well, don't put a reel on a gun that you're not prepared to lose.
Yeah.
But I see that, like Tony said, that with all of your equipment, everything should be able to be dropped off you, and you don't shed a tear. You just get on with it. You do it because
except for your pisset, don't take that off.
Yeah, if you rip that off, you're in trouble.
Well, if you did what I did today, you might have problems with a pisset.
Oh, the conger.
Yeah, when I was on the bomb, a bloody conger attacked my fin, and I just felt my fin vibrate. Turn around, and there's a conger attacking my fin. Bloody cheeky bugger, isn't it?
I actually spoke to that conger afterwards.
Yeah, you told him you did the wrong thing.
No, he was saying how he was mortified because he was asleep. He just had a big dinner, and then out of nowhere he just gets this massive fin smashed into the side of his head.
Yeah, that was real. And there was fish coming in as well, but I was not hanging around.
I had a fight today for 20 minutes with a conger reel, and bless him, he didn't make it, but yeah, managed to shoot him when he was sat in the hole. Spear got stuck, so I tried pulling him out, and then he decided that it would be a good idea to grab onto my left hand and not let go. And so it was his head or mine, literally. And so yeah, he was worse for wear afterwards, and I came back with no conger, unfortunately, but I'm still yet to try it. One day.
Just leave him alone, mate. I shot one once down West Cornwall, and I shot this thing. It was free swimming out over the kelp, which would surprise me, and I shot it just behind the head, sort of down through where you'd imagine its neck would be, sort of thing. And it just spun round, wrapped itself around the spear, ripped the spear clean out of itself while it was thrashing around, and then just went straight for me. I was like, no. So now I'm never touching a conger again.
Well, I've heard
Even if they're in a comp, I'll just swim by. I'll just have a nice day, mate. See you later.
They're strong enough, they bend spears
Yeah.
that they're on, and they'll just bend them 90 degrees.
Oh, they are strong things.
Are they that good
Especially the
eating?
big ones.
Like,
Not-
is it even worth it?
I mean, they're edible.
Yeah, I mean,
You-
I
you
guess
can-
all
you
fish
can-
are edible, right?
You can
Depends
get
what
some
you
nice steaks off them.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah. but that they are covered in slime. They stink.
Yeah, I remember
And
Dad
I've
used to bring
heard-
back from the boat, like
Yeah.
real big ones. And I think we just gave them to the cats in the end. It just wasn't like worth it. But
Well, one of the most expensive foods in Japan is eel.
really,
It's one of the most expensive foods. I know that they
they tend to be like silver eels
Yeah,
or like.
freshwater eels, is it?
Yeah.
Jellied eels and that.
No, jellied eels is more London, but the Japanese, I'm sure they do something with baby conger, where, and I was watching a YouTube thing on it, where they'll butterfly the conger and then they put steaks or like prongs in it and put it over a barbecue with a specific type of soy sauce for 72 hours or whatever it is, and it's like £100 per eel. And it's
This is a country that sells fish flavoured lemonade, mind.
yeah. They have got strong stomachs. They have got strong stomachs. I don't doubt that.
I'm not knocking them, fair play, I did, but
They are good at using all of the food.
yeah.
Again, I was watching the YouTube the other day, and the guy was filleting a parrotfish, and he just gutted it, and its liver was on the desk, and he just cuts a bit of the liver off and just starts eating it, and he goes, "Oh, that's very nice." I'm like,
Sounds like the oyster lady, man.
it's like, oh. But you've got to eat all the food. That's why we're in spearfishing.
So you said the other day about bass not being holed up mostly in Cornwall. Like, is that? Like,
Yeah,
does that
it's-
not happen here or?
No, I've seen a couple in holes down here. I'm yet to shoot a decent one out of a hole, but I know you shot one that was in a hole the other day, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've found, and I've been told as well, you tend not to get too many fishing holes down there. My reasoning behind it is you've got so much kelp and structure around, they're not going to waste their time in a hole. But you look at like the sand type and things like that, so you compare it to Sussex where they've got a lot of hole fishing.
Yeah.
It's very like soft, fine sand that
Right.
the bass can find a hole in a rock, they can move the sand, and then they can sit in there out of the tide.
Right.
Down here, the sand is quite dense. It's
Yeah.
with granite rock, so it's very. That's why we get clear viz, because the sand settles very quick.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't. You don't get the sort of like hole formation that you do in Sussex. Down here, you get a hole in a granite rock. It's a hole in a granite rock. There's no chambers. There's no sort of like little areas that they could tuck in. Generally, I found a hole off Penzance, and it's incredible. It should hold fish. It's like a triangle V cut that goes the whole way through the rock. It's fully loaded with pout. It's deep. It's sand, like everything. And I know that they get big bass nearby. Every time I've looked in there,
Nothing.
nothing.
Right.
I sent the video to Eric Smith, and he said to me, keep having a look, because it would hold cod or something like that in the winter.
Yeah.
And I keep going back, but every time it's just empty.
Where is it, mate? I'll check it for you.
Which one did I say last time? Was it the cows here or the white cows here?
But no,
no,
it's interesting because like a place where me and Rob dive on the north coast of Cornwall, that we've quite often gone up there. We've found it's a really good spot for bass. It's a nice boulder field under some steep cliffs, where the cliffs over the years have obviously fallen down into the sea, and it's formed a really nice boulder field with a good bit of kelp around. It's not super dense kelp, but there is kelp there, and we almost always see bass there. But we've noticed that the bass that you see out swimming around are sort of 30 centimetre schoolies all the way up to sometimes 50, 55 centimetre fish. But the big bass that you see there are always in the caves underneath. They're underneath the boulders, and there's boulders stacked on boulders, and some of them form huge caverns the size of a Mercedes Sprinter van. And you just tuck your head under and have a look. I'm yet to shoot one because I'm not very good at hole hunting. They spook for me, but I've seen some donkeys sat in the holes down there.
Okay.
Absolutely massive fish, and it's too easy, I suppose, to get caught up in that spot anyway. I did the first time I went there. Get really caught up just looking for those 50, 55 centimetre fish that you see out and about, and you don't even look properly in the holes. But when we did start looking, we saw some really nice fish in the holes down there.
We didn't see anything until we stopped swimming and started drifting,
Yeah.
and then they started poking their heads out.
Okay.
You'd see them.
Like, bass fishing on the north coast is much better than south coast. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
I mean the north coast is known as the Bass Coast,
Yeah.
isn't it? They're everywhere there. but
we get more
we
pollock
don't,
on the south.
don't normally get such good conditions on the north coast. It's where all the prevailing wind and swell tends to hit the north coast, so you can't dive it as often, or at least I can't with my abilities.
But that was the
But,
biggest difference that I saw today versus my dive, 2 weeks ago. I went out with Davo to a spot on the north coast, and we went out to a pinnacle, and literally as we got to the pinnacle, this shoal of 55 to 70 centimetre bass, there was thousands of them, and they did not give a shit that we were there. Went down, shot them, the shoal sort of spooked a bit and then came straight back in. They just didn't care. But today was the most amount of small pollock I've seen all year. There were so many pollock.
Oh, there was pouting, pollock, black bream,
And the
couches
shoals
bream,
of them.
there was everything there today. I even saw a shoal of little baby cod, but the trouble with all what we saw today is most of it was quite small.
It's still nice to
some
see
nice-
though. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's a good mixed bag. Yeah.
And there were nice fish amongst them. It just took a bit more.
And it's got to be like the small fish are there, the bigger ones there as well. Sure.
Yeah, I should think so. Maybe a bit further out.
No?
Maybe a bit
Nah.
deeper. I think maybe a bit
not that
deeper
side.
where we were. I think we're a bit deeper out. There might be some good spots for some bigger bream, maybe. But
But I think what you were saying about hole hunting earlier on, and what Matt said with the ground that you guys have got, the amount of bass that I saw today that I didn't shoot because they spooked too quickly, because you've got the rock on the bottom and then you've got a half a metre, 75 centimetres of kelp.
Yeah.
That to them swimming underneath, they've got this lovely little zone that they can swim through and they can't be seen.
it's a rainforest.
Yeah,
It's impossible.
and you can just
They just dip in the kelp and they're gone.
Yeah.
You're not going to see them again if they don't want to be seen. They're gone.
Yeah, so you've got amazing ground down here. We're very, very jealous versus Devon.
Yeah, well, the only reason I started looking at the holes the other day was because when we went out, I didn't see any fish. I was like, well, you saw the mullet, didn't you? I didn't see anything, and I was like, literally, like, when we went there before, straight away we started seeing fish. I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
I was like, and it was low tide as well, and I know usually on a low, fish will hold up somewhere. So I was like, just go have a look where I dive anyway. So I was like, okay, let me have a look in the holes, and I just saw this big head poking out. At first, I thought it was a conger. So I was like, oh no, not a conger, I'm not shooting that. And then I realised it was a bass, and I was just where I was, he couldn't see me, so I plugged him right on top of the head. And then it was not a bad bass, it was alright. But yeah, and that like just shows, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah, it
if
was
you don't see him,
interesting,
it's worth having a look.
There was seals in the area as well, wasn't there? So that could have
Yeah.
also been
That-
contributing
yeah.
to them being holed up and hiding away.
Seals and
Yeah.
dolphins, like if you find that the fish are either really spooky or they're darting down quick,
Yeah.
it's often a sign that seals or dolphins have been free. And like you say, then start looking in the caves, look under the kelp and stuff,
Yeah.
because the fish will hide up.
But interestingly though, that spot, right, it wasn't very fishy until we got to the area where the seals were.
Yeah, well, the seals aren't stupid.
No, yeah.
But
They
that
hunt
was-
fish
yeah,
now.
but- yeah, but
Hunt fish for a
surely
living all day, every day.
The fish would like
Literally.
the fish would be moved off. Do you know? Like the fish would.
Nah, the seals can follow them.
They
The
come
seals
back.
will just stay where the fish are. The fish see seals all the time, I guess, as well, don't they? So-
Eventually, when we got to that bit where the seals were like bathing or whatever, it was just so fishy there. They were just everywhere. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I lined up
Yeah.
on a lovely fish, and then that monster bull seal came out of nowhere and spooked the fish. I was fuming.
If
And
any-
it was massive.
If any seals are listening now and
God.
would like, no, the opposite. I'll give you an unlimited amount of fish from Asda or Morrison's for a trade of your spots for bass, please.
Mate, they're fussy buggers as well. I tried to feed a seal a mullet, and it just spat it out.
Snubbed you.
It took the mullet. I threw the mullet out in front of it, and it took it, and it sort of chewed it up for a second. Then went sort of, you could see it look like, what the is this? And just spat it back out and came over looking at my bass. So you're not having the bass, and I'll take that mullet back if you don't want it.
But the only thing that I saw from today was the amount of flatfish that sit underneath the loose detritus and the loose kelp and the loose crap
Well, there was
that's
a
on
few
the
there,
sand.
wasn't there?
Yeah. So you're swimming along the sand thinking, well, this is nice clean sand. There's got to be some flatties around here. And then you're like, no. So you start swimming through the shit. And then you're like, there's flatties everywhere.
Yeah,
underneath
I'm there
that.
going, everyone, there's flatties. I was going, where are they? I'm like, in all that shit. No, they're not. Yeah, they are. Look, there's one.
That one dive earlier on. You dove down, got a flatty. You went down because Rich went down because Tony had said there was flatties down there. You came back up with a flatty. Tony said there was another one next to it, so I dove down and got it. I mean, it was only a baby, bless it, but it was just like, they're just everywhere.
Oh, it was funny. The flatties today were mental. I was diving down and I'd get to a spot, like a little 2 metre clearing in all the rubbishy crap that you could see through. And I'd be looking, I'd be like, which flounder do I want? There was 4 or 5 there, and they're ranging from 25, 30 centimetres up to almost 45, 50 centimetre flounder. And I'd just look, that one, no,
You do
that
feel-
one, shoot one, and then all the others would just spook off, and then you'd see them just settling down 10 metres away. And they'd just sit back down again. I'll
You
go
do
get
feel
you
a
in
bit
minute.
bad though, because like the legal limit's like 27 centimetres.
That is small.
It's quite small, isn't it? Like,
is very
it's not much
small.
meat off that.
No.
I managed to get some decent ones today.
Yeah, you got
So
some
Really big ones.
feel
yeah.
big.
Yeah.
yeah.
Big flounders, yeah.
I owe you for that then, because when we were swimming out and you said, I've seen a flounder over there, I thought, noted, I'll go back there and have a good look around. I went back
Thanks
and
for 12 points, mate.
I went back and found them all. So I started to think, should I stop shooting fish now? Because it's getting a bit mad.
As your float is sinking.
Well, the funny part is we're all...
Just one more. Just one more.
Mate, I shot them today. I use a catch bag on top of my float. I don't use a stringer. And flounder, as anyone that's shot one will know, are really awkward to brain and really difficult to actually kill. They seem to just survive everything when you try and kill them. So I shot a few and I was putting them in my float, in the bag on my float, and it was filling up and up and up. And it got to the point I was trying to put another flounder into my float, and I opened the bag and one jumped out over my shoulder and just pissed off.
I'll give you a tip for flatfish. If you want a flatfish to be dead, don't try and brain it, because you're just going to hurt it.
Oh, I ended
Constantly
up
stabbing.
I just bled them out in the end.
Yeah, just rip its gills out from top and bottom, and within 10-15 seconds it will be dead.
Oh, I don't know. I gutted and gilled mine, and when I got back to the car, it
Still
was still
flapping.
kicking.
Like the typical bloody dogfish.
He's banned from braining anything anyway. After recent incidents, that's it.
That's it. After stabbing myself, I'm not going to stab fish.
So, as a bit of
bleed
a
'em.
side question, like we used to do in the past, where we say, like, I think I got you with what piece of gear couldn't you live
Oh
without,
yeah,
Matt?
you've only put me on the spot with that.
We'll go around the table and just say a slightly different question. What piece of gear do you now want? Like, as a if money was no object.
A new wetsuit, please. Mine flushes like crazy.
So
I'd like a custom fit wetsuit, just because I'm a tall, lanky, skinny git, and 90% of the off-the-shelf wetsuits aren't even close, and the other 10% still don't fit me properly. I end up stretching them and getting big air gaps in my back, which then typically fill with water, and I freeze.
and you get cold.
So yeah, a nice custom fit wetsuit.
Nice, Matt.
What do I really want at the minute?
Yep.
6 metre rib, mate.
With a driver. Yeah, we go with a boat with a pilot.
You want a chartered boat.
Yep, chartered boat.
With all the spots in the navs already.
I'm fine with that part, but for me, like, because I do alternating shifts, I often dive by myself anyway. And like my brother, he said, "Oh, I've got a spare boat, like a little sib you can have. Roll it up, stick it in the back of your car." And I say to him, the problem is I'll end up diving stupid spots that I shouldn't be by myself before I go to work. And I know full well, like, the engine will conk out or something, and I'm like, bugger, here we go, like halfway to France.
The
So
boat on a float
someone
line off
else
your belt.
driving, it's their problem then.
Yeah.
Like I say, meet me at the beach, you launch, you recover, I'll just shoot fish.
But spearfishing gear, because you're a sponsored diver
Yes,
from sponsored with.
so I'm sponsored by Dry Dock, Spear Dock, sorry.
Yeah, dry dock. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was
dry docking.
sponsored by Spear Dock. So I've got like affiliations to C4, MVD, Hermes Sub, Tarpon, Picatech.
Yeah.
So quite a few brands.
So you're quite up there already with the top echelon of gear.
Yeah, I mean, to put it into perspective, I'm expecting my first baby, so I knew I'm not going to be buying kit for about 5 years. So prior to this, I went out and
No. Scrub the 5 years. It's 25 years.
I'm telling myself 5 years. That's my coping mechanism
Keep
right
telling
now.
yourself that. It's fine.
So yeah, I've got the guns I want. I've got the suit I want, the kit bags, everything. A lot of people take the mick and they're like, "Oh, you are like Mr. C4, Mr. Carbon," and I'm like, "Yeah, it looks great when I blank." So with regards to the kit, I've been fortunate that I've sort of picked up a lot over the years as well. So even things like dive watches, I've got high-end dive watches.
You know, a dive watch would be good. I might revise my wetsuit suggestion. I'd love a
you
Garmin
got Mark
Descent
one?
2.
Mark II. Mark II-I. That I don't even have the use for because I don't scuba.
Swap if you want. Seat partner.
That and 1,200 quid.
I even got it on discount. It cost me about 60 quid this one.
Ben?
Oh, I don't know, mate. Yeah, dive watch should be pretty cool. I'm using the same watch as Tony, the SEAC partner. And it's fine, like it does a job, but I'd
Was
love
that
to
the
be
one
able
I
to.
got out of your boot earlier on today?
Yeah,
Because you'd forgotten it.
I'm always leaving shit everywhere.
Like your boot
And then
opener.
finding it.
Or like your boot
Oh,
opener.
hold on,
yeah.
wait. Before you ask me, Ben, you got to tell everyone your story, how you lost your mask and found it.
Oh, that was
Lost your mask?
Oh yeah.
He lost his
This is
mask on a dive we did the other day.
taking a bit of a detour,
But he
hasn't
needs
it?
to
Is it not on your
He needs to tell the story.
Oh no, it was
He needs to tell the story. Come on, Ben.
It was
It's not that
It's like looking
exciting.
for your
but-
glasses on your head.
Yeah, well, yeah, wouldn't be the first time, but yeah, basically, I got out onto some bit of concrete and I was putting all the stuff on the float. And I don't really know where I put the mask, but I put it nearby. Got my fins off, but the water was kind of washing in and out, and I guess it took my mask. I didn't realise until I got all the rest of the gear back to the car. It wasn't like a huge walk, but it's pretty annoying. I was like, oh shit, what have I done with my mask? Like, normally I put it in my bag or put it somewhere sensible. Anyway, couldn't find it. Realised that I'd obviously left it in the water or left it on the concrete. Couldn't see it on the concrete, so it'd obviously fallen in the water. I was going back and forward. I got my I got in. Obviously, didn't have a mask, so I couldn't see in the water. So I was like trying to feel with my feet. I didn't have my weight belt on, so I was like floating up and down like Mr. Blobby. Anyway, I asked some girl who had I guess like a house near where I got in. I was like, you don't happen to have like a mask or something that I can borrow, do you? And you know those like what? You know, like these like full face masks.
The alien.
With like the thing that
with the
comes out
dildo.
the top, but the dildo at the top. And you know they do it like real bright pink. So I had to do like this walk of shame with this big like full face pink mask on with a big dildo sticking out the top of my head like Tinky Winky. Jump in the water. I still didn't have to put my dive belt on, so I was like bobbing along the water trying to get down. It's not very deep, but you know what it's like when you've got a 7mm suit on and you've got no weight on.
Yeah.
Big pink thing on your face that you can't equalise in. I was trying to like get oh, it's horrible, mate.
Number one Emmett.
Yeah. So everybody on the beach was pissing
And then he
themselves.
found
They
it.
found
He
it.
Found the bloody
The
mask.
spot where he lost it, the seabed must have been, 18 inches deep with just shit.
Green
dead sea
solid
Oh, yeah,
seaweed.
mate.
Yeah.
It was pretty hard
lettuce.
going.
It was thick sea lettuce for like 100 metres in every direction. Just
And now you know why we call him Mr. Lucky.
and he found the bloody mask. It's good going, that one.
Yeah, so
Oh, man. We were having a good laugh when you texted us.
yeah, I tried to like video it. My phone wasn't. It was in a
We
bag,
were
I
having a
couldn't get it.
cracking
Yeah,
laugh,
so
I tell you.
it was funny. It was funny.
So apart from attaching everything to your body by fucking
Yeah, I'm
chainmail,
useless.
what would be so dive watch?
Yeah, well, I've been lusting after ribs actually. Like every night, I'm like, oh, that's a nice rib, isn't it, babe? Hey Lou, look at this. You know, what do you reckon? 5 meters, 6 meters? Like, yeah, but I think that's probably something I ought to do. And maybe like my second, third year of spearfishing. I realised next week is a year since I caught my first fish spearfishing.
So you're going
That's my
into the
speariversary.
second year, so your rib will be 2 weeks' time, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice. Rick, come a long way, mate, with that mixed bag.
Ah,
today.
thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Don't know, man. Quite content, to be honest. I think the guns I'm using, maybe if I can get my hands on some of this.
Is that from your boyfriend?
Yes, from my boyfriend.
Yeah, from your boyfriend. Your boyfriend.
It's only because I rip the shit out of him all the time, and now obviously, oh, you got to let some guns. Oh, okay, he's not your boyfriend.
Just give him a little shout out anyway, make him happy.
If you give it, you need to receive it. Just like you do off your boyfriend.
Yes, my boyfriend Dan Newman. To be fair, Dan did text me and say he thinks it's hilarious when you call him that, so I'm sure he likes it.
Hi Dan! How's Richard?
But yeah, probably get my hands on a couple of tarpon guns.
Nice.
They're good quality actually, I like them.
Yeah,
really well made.
Oh, we've got a bit of a secret special guest, but Rob.
Yes.
Hello, Rob. Welcome to the podcast. So Rob's very nicely been sat here fully quiet pretty much the whole time. You probably heard his voice every now and then. But Rob, what gear? Because sorry. First of all, hi Rob.
Hi, Tony.
How are you? How long have you been spearing?
I think I'm at the end of my 3rd year,
Cool.
or
cool.
maybe 4th, can't remember.
Cool. And you're Cornwall based, Devon based, Dorset based?
Yeah, I've lived in Cornwall now 4 years, so yeah, it'll be my 4th year spearfishing. Yeah.
Awesome. And in terms of the question that we were asking everybody a second ago is, what piece of gear would you add to what you've got now? If money was no object and it was all shiny, what would you want?
Ooh, I need lots because I've lost a lot of gear this year. Everything seems to have a 3-year lifespan. I've snapped fins, lost mask and snorkel, broke my dive watch. I think the dive watch for me, I feel naked without a dive watch.
Yeah.
You know, I got so used to having one. I got one in my first season. I was obsessing about breath holds, which I now, without one, I'm quite happy not doing anymore.
Yeah.
But still, recovery time on the surface,
Yeah.
I'm guessing. And I do a lot of solo diving as well, so that'd be my
Safety aspect.
Yeah.
And just being safe in your head.
But while I'm talking, I'd like to know, what is the right end of a trigger fish to stick your finger in? Have a listen back later. You'll know where that came from.
Well, from the experience of what I've seen on YouTube, definitely it's arse. I don't, but then again, I don't know how hard that bites.
I'm definitely getting more messages after this one.
We're in trouble.
Yeah.
What would I get? Probably, just because I love carbon fibre, I get a fully carbon gun.
You know this is probably going to be like 2 weeks time, don't you?
Boat. You don't stop talking about boats.
No, I keep talking about boats because just having a boat would be really cool. Like
It's
a really,
expensive, though.
yeah, exactly. And that's
It's a
the thing.
massive
And
dream.
the faff. I mean, I go on boat dives with Davo quite often, and he's got a stunning South African specific for spearfishing. I can't remember what it's called.
Sea
Ski.
They're lovely boats, yeah.
440 or something like that. And it's a gorgeous boat. Slightly uneasy when you know, if somebody's getting in the water, you need to know that they're getting in the water. Otherwise, you're also getting in the water without meaning to. But it's a fantastic boat. But getting the boat in the water, fucking around if it goes wrong, fucking around if it goes wrong when Davo's being damn near mowed over by the boat and we're trying to get out of a beach. Shore diving is just so much easier. And you
I
haven't
can
got...
agree with you there.
Yeah.
It's on
so-
Facebook every day. Look at this boat. Look at this boat.
You've been publicly called out and shamed.
I can one thing.
Like Rob and I both live in the same village, and I dive with Rob quite a lot, well, a hell of a lot to be fair. And he's a good dive buddy, so shout out there, Rob. Thank you for that. But Rob can vouch for me. Like, I own a boat, and it spends 99% of the time in the garage, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It barely comes out. It comes out maybe
Mine has
once
a
every
70
few months.
horsepower 2-stroke on it, which you can't afford the fuel for these days. So yeah, that's sat on the drive looking at me.
It's so much easier to just jump in off the shore and go swim somewhere, but having the option of the boat's nice. But it doesn't get used very often.
Well, I think in terms of the thing that I would want is probably similar to what Tony was saying. It was a custom, not necessarily a custom suit. I'm 6'6" and not lanky, so I'm a fat fuck. So I fill the suit, and it sticks to me well. But I've got a a suit at the moment that is I bought, and I've had it since I first started diving, which was October last year. But it's now just starting to tear stitches out, and it's still perfectly warm. It's a 7mm top and bottom. But the ones that I've seen from Spearfishing UK that come with like a
the Kevlar.
Yeah,
the Moray suits.
Yeah, the Moray commercial.
I'm thinking about buying one of those.
And for £400.
Right, if you're listening, not in near time.
Yeah,
Not in the near future.
They look like an
They're
awesome
not
suit.
£400, they're 20. This is listening.
Sorry, 400.
I mean, I've had my suit since February, and my stitches all coming down
Yeah.
and flushes like mad.
Yeah,
I haven't had a suit last me a full year yet.
Right,
How
well,
long should they last? Like, is there like a
Depends how
guaranteed
much
period?
glue you've got.
And how much you dive as well. The problem I'm having with my suit at the moment, I've stretched it a bit because I'm so lanky, but the compression on it is what's got it.
Yeah.
I dive a lot.
These suits are
And
named
they're
for it,
known
aren't
for the
they?
compression as well.
Is that the
And I bought it
Epsilons
because
or
it was
the-
super
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah.
It was all on clearance, so I think I only paid about 110 quid in total for my wetsuit.
Yeah.
But it was a 7mm when I bought it, and it's probably 3.5.
Yeah, I've got a
Super
similar
compressed.
one, but it is super comfy as well.
It is.
It feels really well built, but it does
I've got
compress. I've got quite a few rips around the hood as well.
My
like-
hood's
Oh,
ripped
yeah.
as well, actually. Yeah.
I've got a question right about neoprene suits. Do different neoprene, different suits hold the smell differently? Like, because
I got a really good tip for this the other day from Marcelo and Harriet, a couple of other dive buddies I've got. If you buy that piss off wetsuit stuff to sterilise your suit and clean it, it works, it's really expensive. But if you go into any random supermarket and look for the baby bottle sterilising
Milton,
stuff,
is it?
yeah, little
Milton.
I think so.
you get like, I think it's a litre bottle for £1, and it'll wash your suit probably 20 times. So yeah, the sterilising fluid that they use for baby bottles, just get that.
same
It's,
stuff.
it's basically the same stuff as piss off, and it's £1 a bottle instead of like 15 quid a bottle.
It doesn't break down the suit in any way because I guess they're quite
I mean,
fragile.
I
aren't they?
don't use it every time I wash my suit.
Right.
So I just normally wash my suit with plain water, but then like once every 3 weeks, a month.
Well, the reason,
get
the
that
reason I
down.
asked, right, because the suit that I've got, I won't name the brand, but the suit I've got, that's literally stitches coming undone already. It stinks. So I haven't back, even though I wash the hell out of it every
That's just
time,
you, man.
in and after. Well, I was wondering whether like it's my kidneys failing, or whether like I don't know what, if it's the neoprene or
So
something.
if you
like,
buy this Milton, drink it before you go in. Don't wash your suit, just pee in it.
but honestly, like I'll like wash it. I'm
drink
like,
bleach and
it's-
piss it out.
not even piss, but it just stinks in general. Like it's just weird.
Is it lined or open?
I've got the
It's
same
open
suit,
cell.
mate, and mine doesn't smell. So, what does that say?
but-
Anthony's got the same suit
I was
as
going
well.
to say, in fact, actually, we can now bring Rachel in and her love for Zoflora.
No, I'm always the one that washes the suit. I do
Thank
have
you,
a lot
darling.
of tips. In
A lot
in terms of that, I'd say, yeah, Zoflora, disinfectant. It's strong smelling, it's disinfectant. Don't use it often, like Ben's saying, about
It will
breaking
perish
down
the suit.
suit.
It will perish the suit.
We
I've
use a
tried it.
tiny
Yeah.
bit in a big sort of vat of water, maybe once every 2 months. And in between that, I pick a strong smelling soap, which is mint. Wash it, scrub it with that.
I don't know why
It's
my
okay.
balls tingle.
And it's fine, it doesn't smell that
Well, to be
bad.
fair, I'm considering like just chucking this whole thing in the washing machine and just put it on.
Oh, don't.
No,
Do that, mate.
No,
No.
honestly,
It's already falling apart, so I'm like, might as well just do it.
I'll bring some of that fluid to
surf
wash it.
shops, because I surf as well, and I sent my wife to get some piss off from the surf shop, and the lady at the surf shop told her not to bother and just use mouthwash. Just a cap full of mouthwash.
All right.
So the lady in the shop wouldn't
assuming-
sell us a bottle of piss off.
Assuming the
told us
alcohol-free
to-
mouthwash.
Yeah, alcohol-free mouthwash.
Well, unless you're a pisshead like me.
I mean, I guess it's just bacteria, right, that's causing the
Wonderful
smell.
suit.
So,
Kill the bacteria.
It's
kill the
that
smell.
mint though, like you're saying, mouthwash as well.
Yeah.
And mint soap, yeah, the mint.
I would have thought soap would do the job. You know, it's like washing your hands, basically, isn't it? Gets the bacteria.
But
out.
a lot of soaps are like neutral smell, aren't they? Or
Yeah.
quite
The
subtle.
thing that you've got to
Yeah.
remember is that neoprene is porous, hence the reason it keeps us warm, and it will hold your urine more than just giving it a rinse, which then will turn into urea, and that's what stinks. So you have to wash that out. Sorry, Rachel has to wash that out when I get home from a dive. Can I just say my suit's still in the car? Rachel, we've been at the pub an hour and 15 minutes. It's going to stink soon. But yeah, no, Zoflora has been awesome. Just a cap full of Zoflora.
And the mint stuff, the mint soap. It's just you know, that natural source soap. And
Yeah,
it's mint,
yeah.
and it just gets rid of the smell.
Nice.
Oh,
And
yeah.
also washing yourself with. So I keep a 5 litre warm vat of conditioned water.
We had a good laugh at your shower after. Did you like it? Holding a plastic beer keg over your head, just draining the entire thing on top.
He was like shaking his head like it was in Baywatch.
I was going to say, was it not like Baywatch?
Not from where I was stood.
More like car park. But yeah, no, just like before I put my suit in the bag, I'll use the rest of the conditioned warm water that I used to put the suit on to rinse myself of all the piss before I take the suit off.
Just get a pissette. Stop pissing in your
I
wetsuit.
could just get
Yeah, but I have one, and mine still stinks.
Well,
They don't make
get
them
one that
small
fits.
enough for me though.
It did come out the other day. I couldn't be asked to go back to shore, but still, even today, it all went out.
Yeah, you don't want backflow. That's what'll make it stink. If you got a pissette,
Oh, mate, you always
some
get
back
leakage
pressure.
though, like a little bit.
Pinch the side of it.
Yeah,
if
but are we
that's the
talking about
problem.
your old age or?
That's why I cut a hole in the beaver tail.
Yeah.
Because it's like a nice, like, holds it in place.
Yeah, because that's the issue I have as well. Because I'm having to like pull my beaver tail apart.
No, no, don't go to that far.
Put the piss
Loud
out.
and proud, mate. Whether it's
So you've just
that
got it
big or
sticking
this.
out through your beaver tail,
Direct hit, mate.
and you're walking down the beach like.
Yep.
If you
Often running away from like these dads who have seen me wandering down their daughter, and I'm like, oh no, oh no.
if you cut an old sleeve off a wetsuit and glue it on the outside, it looks good.
You're
Anyway.
not that lucky, mate. Little finger off a glove works the same.
Yeah, no, but just stick the wetsuit sleeve over the outside, and it's just tricks everyone.
Yeah, straight up. First thing I do with a suit, get my passat, put the jacket on, beaver tail, knife. Done.
I got
dangerous putting a
loads of
knife there when
stick
it's
from
on.
Lou. For,
I wouldn't trust you to do it, mate. I'd much rather chance Edward Scissorhands than let you know.
Yeah, I need to work on my knife skills.
I keep pulling my pisset off by accident. Seriously, the other
As
day
long
I'm
as there's
stood
nothing left in it when you pull it off.
with Tony as we're getting ready to go out, and you know we're like waist deep, and I'm having a sneaky pee, and the beach is full of tourists. I'm trying to get myself back in my pissette as you do. Suddenly I'm like, look down and there's this pink thing hanging out. I'm glad I'm waist
Oh, that's
deep.
even worse,
I'm
that.
glad I'm waist deep.
That's quite good too. I might try that one actually.
Yeah, just cut it off. And what I learned is if you tuck it back in, then water comes in.
Yeah.
But if you've got your todger hanging out the hole, it plugs the leak.
Until it gets too cold.
Yeah, you sort of like got to roll it around a couple of times.
Probably won't work in the winter, but yeah. I left it hanging out for that dive anyway.
What were you using it as, like a bait?
That's why I got two
Gun
fish
like
in the
this.
blank.
What an image, Matt.
Don't go to the same. Don't go to the same place we went today because that Congo will find you.
Lying in the kelp and the lobster's looking at you. Oh.
Yeah, just that little feeler coming out.
Yeah. It's a different image to ragworm.
Sweet. Well, I think we're there, are we?
Well, thank you very much. It's thank you for taking us out, Tony and Matt, Rob. Thanks for coming down. It's been
That's all right.
an amazing episode. Great to talk to you all.
It was great diving with you guys.
Yeah,
And,
man.
good
Over
to
here.
see you.
Yeah, we'll get some more in for sure.
That's it. I think what are we planning next week? Anything?
What about you? We're planning tomorrow.
This is yeah. Don't think any further than that.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure yet, but we'll have something lined up, won't we?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for coming, guys.
Cheers,
And,
lads.
Thanks very much. Yeah,
we'll
thank you.
see you tomorrow.
Thank you.